a short one. Folks, the overall behavior of Bitcoin. So I've been discussing with my premium community. It's been ambiguous a lot today, and I'm not comfortable with the down leg we've had. I wasn't that happy with the up leg we were getting on the upside. We were discussing that in our premium. So we've been scaling back and being more cautious slightly. So the first two impulses were very good, but it's losing some of its fizzle. And there are actually cases to be made. We invert charts. Go have a look at your own inverted charts. There are cases to be made that it is looking a bit soft. It's round about at a key point now, so it may hold in whiles. It's not an absolute supreme spiller, but it could become so. I shared a chart earlier today where there was an accumulation zone and a disaccumulation zone. And I highlighted that if we fell through the accumulation zone, that means the buyers are relenting and that the sellers are winning out. So that's not a particularly bullish thing. By the way, we love your comments. Drop them in. I'll try to respond. How are you, BC? Nice to see you, Duarte. And of course, my members of my community were popping on there as well. Looking a tad soft at Bitcoin. So while I am looking at the device, just thought I'd do it off the device really quick. And I always say these things really quick, and then you guys start asking me questions and I end up hanging out for hours. But overall, it's not looking that great for Bitcoin. And we've just run the previous low. Now, there are a couple of scenarios where this won't turn into a full-blown bear breakdown that will see you running the previous low. So it's not 100% going all the way back down. We have a target in our premium community if this is the setup that it might be. But it could also just be a deeper down leg on a second impulse. So there's some nuances that is very difficult to explain to folk that are not regulars on the channel. But the possibility that we were getting our third impulse for a break up to the upside that we had originally fashioned on YouTube is disseminating, and a more dark cloud has emerged, mainly over these last 3 days, and particularly in the last two, especially after we fizzled last night. So as I say, we've been backing off, and you've got to be careful. So watch out. By the way, as I was saying, it could be in a structure that could take you down to the mid-20s, but it could also just bulk up, find a bottom, and just be a bigger second impulse. So it's going to be a little bit, it's just not what it originally pretended it might be. Oh, this hand's a bit, gets in the way of the camera and I'm holding it like this, not good. I should have had my selfie stick. So yeah, be careful out there. This is not the time for leverage longs. I also wouldn't jump in front of falling knives with leverage longs. I know we mega bulls on the macro, and I think the macro wins out in the end of the day. But, you know, we've got typically the highs come in end of year. There's plenty of opportunity for journeys, detours in the journey. It's quite ironic, Ethereum, which was outperforming Bitcoin for a while, it ran its all-time high literally yesterday on most exchanges, not every single one at fiat level. Please bear in mind it's well off the 15% of a Bitcoin that it once hit at previous levels, which shows us, to me, how early we are in the bull market. So we could get a second level crash, and maybe 38% is the new 38%, or 32% is the new 38%. We'll see if we have to revise that phrase by virtue of what's going on. So we'll see that of support. So it's going to possibly hold up a little bit here, but that doesn't mean it survives. And Bitcoin is also just getting a slight bid. So it's walking its way up. As I've said, this is not a high momentum, throw it down spiller. I would advise most retail traders rather just to practice defense rather than think, great, I'm going to just blood myself in shorting and just go absolutely insane. Because as I was highlighting, there are scenarios here where, in fact, we just get a deeper low and we chunk up and then we go slightly higher later. So there's a guy who's really happy and saying how dead wrong I am. Good for you, mate. I'm glad you're a big man and live in a big world. I don't plan on giving 2020's gains back. Yeah, so be defensive, says Randall. Be defensive. We're getting a bit of a bid still. It's kind of like a lower low. Getting a bit of a bid still. Anything still can and could happen. So don't treat this like it's an absolute bear. People are very binary. It's bull or bear. No, it's not. It could just extend the pattern, and you could actually end up a week's time from now, and we'll be talking about longing it again. So be careful. Nothing's proven at this point. The one key level where that changes, and you say, man, it definitely is going to be, it's definitely not a bull, is when we run the 30,400, that was the low. So the 30,400, that was the smash down low. If you run that, then you absolutely know that we're selling off and that we're in some form of a bear structure. Don't forget, you can also get other ways that you go down. You could even end up with a falling wedge in a bigger time frame. There's lots of things. So it's not all that's happened is a whole ream of new possibilities have been opened up. So to say anybody's wrong or right is almost foolish, because the story is still unfolding. You might be right for the moment and wrong on the bigger time frame. You might be wrong on the moment and right in the bigger time frame. So, and an opinion is meant to change every 5 minutes. We've got a real probability fool who doesn't understand the concept of variable data and adjusting your view. The game is to change your view as new news comes in. Absolutely. And in fact, the greater trader you are, the faster dexterity you have, and the less you hold on to losing views. So the key game is small losses and big wins. So we start modeling early for an upside continuation. Why? Because every time we've done it, countless times in this bull market, we've turned out correct. So we keep on keeping on with the bull narrative until such time as you start to see weakness and your initial assumption of bull is being tested, and then you calm back and you play defense, and then you hold that defensive line and you wait and see what's coming next. You let it reshape, you let it put new footprints in the sand. You think you're stalking a hyena, next thing you know you're stalking a lion. So you get new information as the time goes. So, well, we'll see exactly where it is. It's getting a small hammer now at this level, so we'll have to see. This could just be a bloated second impulse that's gone around, and we end up setting up again for the upside, and we're back at 25.6%. Here's the new 38%. But you might need to work that hangover off a little longer. So it sits in a continuation pattern in a kind of bloated way for a while longer. And that is something you want to bear in mind in terms of what you're doing with crypto at the moment. So what else have I got for you? Mini series for free newbies is below, by the way. We want to hear your comments. What do you think you're going to happen? So let's get this to be a record comment video. I'm interested in your views. Let's do a straw poll. Pop your view down. Are we medium term, just a small down leg, and we're still going to stay in this consolidation and then break up? Are we going to stay in this down leg for a period, set up a consolidation and break down? Or is this going to just keep rolling into a spiller to the downside? Let's hear your best answers on that. It'll be great to hear. By the way, during these periods, alts rarely serve you well. So during the periods of bearishness or uncertainty to Bitcoin, it is not the right time generally to be entering leverage longs on alts, because if there is further weakness in Bitcoin, that weakness gets exaggerated. And if you've added leverage and you're in a thin coin with light volume, you can get properly spanked. So word of warning for the wise, and hence why generally we do the bulk of our trading on BTC ETH, and we take the odd alt every now and then for a ride when we feel super comfortable that Bitcoin is going to do what we expect it to do, which isn't, and it still doesn't work out nearly as often. It's harder to do because you've got an extra point of failure. This is a key concept that, you know, we've knocked home a few times in terms of, you know, not getting yourself killed jumping in front of trains. So there's an uncertainty element to it. This is tied also a little bit to dollar strength at the moment, dollar index, and also the bond market's looking a little bit frail. And if they go down, yields go up. That means real rates of return start to be earned again. So a lot of aspects will be a problem. Hey, Rami, nice to see you. Chainlink charts. I'm not going to do independent alts here. I don't want this to be the longest one. Mount Gox rehabilitation, someone wants me to talk about. I don't know too much about it. I've heard that the coins are being recovered and redistributed, which could see a couple of people that are living below their new wealth cashing in a little bit to raise the lifestyle up a bit. Some people might theorize that that's behind some of the weakness. I would argue that if that was clear, the institutions would be picking them up over the counter quite strongly and making their play if they felt value. Markets go down because at the moment there's not perceived enough value for them. That's typically the reason why markets go down. So I wouldn't, you know, everyone wants a narrative. Don't be in a rush for a narrative. You'll get sold a bunch of stories so that it calms your mind. It's almost like, we call it toe tagging. If you've got a narrative, it's fine for why something goes down. Sometimes it goes down because there's more sellers than there's buyers. That's it. That's it. You can say, why are there more sellers than buyers? Everyone might have different reasons. Some might be, you know, saying, I don't like the structure technically. Other people have no clue what technical analysis is, and they just think it's been stuck in this 30 to 40 grand range for a while and that it makes them nervous. Other people, it just might be, you know, the lack of income might be biting and they have to sell some crypto to fund their lifestyle. And the 2 grand checks haven't shown up yet. So yeah, Ethereum for now is actually bouncing on a funnel. Got the ETH chart. We've got a very good draw of the ETH chart here. So we're expecting it to show support at this point. So it might thrash around a little bit. And if Bitcoin stops going down, it might stay above that support level. And if Bitcoin properly stops, you know, we could have what we call a low 2, and you might just have a bigger second impulse, which is why, as I say, this spill doesn't mean it's a complete reverse all your positions and go the other way, especially to people who don't know how to short. You want to avoid doing it. Yeah, so Mount Gox is nowhere near distribution, says the bear. I would have a claim. So someone saying that those coins aren't even out yet. So I'm not up to date on this, so I don't have a view. That gentleman's probably right. Otherwise, he's got a claim in. He would have received these tokens, I assume. Held my Ethereum through this, hodling it up. Stinky Stoinks going up. Yeah, and actually gold and silver looking pretty good too. So this seems slightly counter-cyclical from Bitcoin. But then you've got to bear in mind, we've just had a super bull. We've just had a super bull that's made a lot of people a lot of money in quite short time frame on this upside. You know, a lot of people flashing the cash, feeling wealthy. Not selling my BTC until 6 digits. Well, if I have a feeling that it might take a deep dive, I will. I've reduced a slight amount on investment just because I don't like this, but I've still stayed half in and I'll reaccumulate that half if we bottom here. So we've got a little bit of a holding the level at the 34. So 34 is a round number, and it is a deeper dip, but this could all blow off. We get a really strong third up push. This is the part of price behavior that kills breakout traders. We are in essence breakout traders. When you get ranges where you're being accumulated and disaccumulated, so accumulated here and disaccumulated there, You bounce like a ping pong ball in this range. And each time it goes up, the people that are in for a breakout are charging in, only to get to the disaccumulate zone, and it gets pushed all the way back down to the accumulate zone. So you keep getting whiplash. It's known as whiplash. And there's a genuine degree of whiplash right now in the price behavior. It's slowed down on its descent now, and there's a possible point of pause and maybe even bottom. Could be either. Yellen and Lagarde talking tough on crypto. Absolutely true, Ian Creswell. So as Bitcoin goes up and everyone is happy, they will get you largely to ignore their mutterings, and they'll inject the regulation. So they'll talk tough to try slow it down. The burnt orange and the aging Yoda granny are sitting there calling foul on real money, whilst they print and do MMT on their fiat-backed bullshit scheme that sees a segment of their secret society and death cults make all the money and be passed all the cheap money to be buying assets as they create asset inflation and strip all the peasants of their assets. So these fraudulent femme fatales call foul on something that as yet they may not entirely directly control, although I'm sure they're moving in very quickly. So the one consolations for them is they'll get more control while you're smiling at the bull market, and they'll roll it back in by drawing it back down. So as I say, Yoda Granny and the sunburnt orange silver fox of a fraud, persecuted and found guilty of fraud, I may hasten to add, are kicking around. Anyway, I didn't want this to be a lengthy one. It's not definitive. I haven't got anything definitive to report you, rather just ambiguity at the moment, technically. And ambiguity means we've had a bit of a down sell-off, and it's cancelled what we thought might become our third impulse. And what it's done is it's pressed a little lower. But that could be a bloated second, and we still go up, which will mean the 48 plus K comes back into view. So nothing is proven, nothing has happened yet. So nobody's right or nobody's wrong. But you're certainly in a bear then, or a sell-off period if we run the 30.5. So there is a level at which this is no longer an upside continuation pattern. And that level is at 30.5. And we traded now, what was the low? I'll give it to you. We've got a little bit of a hammer now, which suggests you might rally. That was 33,400. So if you rally back up and you get back towards the 36s, 36.5s, and then you push a little bit and you approach the 37, 38s for a third high, we'll be back on the YouTube, and we'll be back in leverage longs potentially, and back a full 100% investment. A trimmed investment because it made me a little bit nervous. We do on our upside down charts have a possible setup for a big enough move. So what does Mantcorn think? I think BTC will create an ascending triangle with 36,330. Brian Sequele, hi Mr. Hunt from home South Africa. Yes, hey, how are you doing, Brian? How's South Africa? Hope you guys are well. Hope the townships are calm. Hope the Cape Town and Durban and Joburg are pumping and everybody's getting out and getting some summer. Don't listen to your government. They lie, they cheat, and they're frauds, whether they're black or white. They're all frauds. Politicians are frauds. They're deceivers by nature. They work for other people. They pretend to work for you, but they enrich themselves and the people that put them in power. Simple as that. And that's not you. And it goes for South Africa, and it goes as much as it goes for UK and America too. Sunny day in the Cape today. Nice, Kevin. How are you doing? Good to see you as well, Kevin. Yeah, nice in the Cape. We've got a couple of snipers in the Cape, Mossel Bay and other areas. Good. 586 guys on. Thank you very much for popping on. Grab the mini series below, as I say, if you want a little bit of a heads up. Right now, nothing too definitive, but just to say the original possibility that was coming closer with a third impulse has been postponed. Not necessarily entirely ruled out. We've just had an extension on our second impulse. That sounds like technical mumbo jumbo. Doesn't matter. If you want to understand more about that, you can book a call, by the way. That's below. Give us your comment on what Bitcoin does next. Let's see what the consensus view is, the intelligence of the crowd. leave in the comments in the comment section when the live feed ends. So type it up for us. It's great to have that interaction, and we appreciate your shares and likes, and we'll catch up with you when there's more to report. We just don't want to be going quiet when things aren't going to plan. Understand, I've got tons of social medias, 3 Twitter profiles, LinkedIn's, everything. We can't reply to everything. If you want to engage us, send support at the Market Sniper. We read the comments, all comments on YouTube, some of which we choose to reply to. And we've got to serve our premium community first and make sure they know exactly how we're feeling, which is a bit weird because we're not sure what we're feeling right now. But we're a little bit of this, a little bit of that, wait and see. Okay, with that great news, thank you so much. And we'll catch you later. All the best to you guys. Bye for now.